Have you ever woken up and realized no one cares? Not about your struggles, your sacrifices, or how hard you've been trying just to keep going? The world keeps moving, cars rushing by, families laughing over breakfast, life spinning past your window, while your effort goes unseen, unheard, untouched. It's a sharp, almost painful truth. But here's the twist. The moment you see it, truly see it, is the moment everything begins to change. Because once you realize no one cares, you stop waiting. You stop seeking validation. You stop bending your life around other people's attention, and that's when your life transforms. Because here's what most men never understand. Freedom isn't about being noticed, it's about carrying yourself. And the man who finally grasps this becomes unstoppable, unshakable, and untouchable. Number 1, the harsh reality of no one caring. When you realize no one cares, it feels like the world has left you behind. Your struggles don't pause traffic. Your sacrifices don't stop laughter at breakfast tables. Your exhaustion doesn't earn a single glance. And in that silence, you feel exposed, small, almost invisible. But here's the thing. The world wasn't made to notice you. People are too consumed with their own fears, their own insecurities, their own battles. They don't have the bandwidth to carry yours. Waiting for someone to acknowledge your effort is like standing in a storm, hoping the clouds will part on your command. It doesn't happen. And that's exactly where transformation begins. Because once you stop waiting for care, once you accept that the world won't notice, something shifts. The weight you've been carrying doesn't disappear, but you learn to carry it differently. You stop leaning on others for validation and start shouldering yourself. It's harsh, it's uncomfortable, but it's also liberating. And what happens next changes everything. Number 2, the birth of self-reliance. Once you stop waiting for anyone to care, something unexpected happens. You begin to carry yourself. Not out of pride, not out of defiance, but because there's no other choice. The world isn't coming to hand you recognition or applause, so you learn to give it to yourself. This is where self-reliance is born. It starts quietly, almost unnoticed, in the small decisions you make for yourself. You wake up and choose discipline over comfort. You train your body, sharpen your mind, and build your craft. Not for likes, not for praise, not for anyone else, but because it's who you are. Marcus Aurelius, a man who bore the weight of an empire, didn't wait for approval to define his strength. He reminded himself, stop debating what a good man should be. Be one. He didn't say, wait for applause. He didn't say, hope someone notices. He said simply, act, because your integrity is your own. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop seeking validation, you gain something far more powerful than recognition. You gain freedom. You become untouchable, not by force, but by self-mastery. And what happens after that? Well, the world starts noticing anyway, but on your terms. Number 3, the mindset shift. Once you accept that no one is coming to notice you, the real work begins. Not outside, but inside. Most men suffer not because of what happens to them, but because of how they interpret it. The breakup that stings more because she moved on without a glance. The achievement that feels empty because no one clapped. The struggle that weighs heavier because it went unseen. But what if you could see it differently? What if the silence, the lack of recognition, wasn't rejection, but initiation? The universe doesn't owe you attention. It doesn't bend for your pain. And when you finally see that, something incredible happens. You stop collapsing under the weight of expectation and start rising under the weight of responsibility. Seneca once wrote that a man is as unhappy as he convinces himself he is. It's not the world that makes you suffer. It's the story you tell yourself about the world. When you interpret silence as abandonment, you weaken. But when you interpret silence as training, as preparation, as the crucible in which strength is forged, you rise, and this is where the transformation begins. The man who no longer expects the world to care becomes untouchable. He becomes deliberate, decisive, and unshakable. He acts because it is in his nature to act. He disciplines himself because it is in his nature to master himself. And in that discipline lies a power that no applause could ever give. Number 4. The power of detachment. When a man stops expecting the world to care, he discovers a quiet, magnetic strength. He moves through life differently, not because he is cold or indifferent, but because he is whole. There's no need to beg for attention, no need to perform, no need to justify his existence. This is the power of detachment. It's the ability to act, to build, to love, and to give, not out of desperation, but from strength. You become a presence that commands respect, not through words, but through the way you carry yourself. People notice, not because you demand it, but because your inner completeness radiates outward. Stoicism isn't about shutting yourself off from the world. It's about becoming complete. It's about standing tall when recognition is absent, so that when you give, when you connect, when you love, it comes from abundance, not need. You're no longer bent by the opinions of others because your worth is rooted inside, untouchable by applause or criticism. And here's the irony. The moment you stop chasing approval, the world begins to respect you, not for your pleas, but for your presence. That's the subtle, transformative power of detachment. You stop waiting for care, and in doing so, you become the kind of man the world can't ignore. Number 5. Discipline and inner strength. Once a man accepts that no one will step in to carry him, he discovers the raw power of self-discipline. He learns to endure silence, to endure misunderstanding, and even to endure contempt, all without bending or breaking. This is where true inner strength is forged. Epictetus trained his students with brutal honesty. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and weak. Why? Because the world's opinions are fleeting and unstable. Today they may cheer you. Tomorrow they may mock you. If your worth depends on their noise, you are a slave. But if you can stand firm under their silence, you are free. Modern psychology confirms what the Stoics already knew. Men who detach from external validation develop resilience. They recover faster from rejection. They carry lower levels of anxiety. They walk taller because they are no longer bent by the shifting winds of opinion. And here's the lesson. When no one cares, lean into it. Let it sharpen you, not harden you in bitterness. Let it mold you, not break you. Build your body, your craft, your mind, not for anyone else, but because it defines who you are. That discipline, that deliberate mastery becomes your foundation. It is the backbone of the man who no longer needs the world to notice. Number 6, transformation. Through action. Once you stop waiting for care, something remarkable happens. The world starts noticing, but not because you asked for it. It notices because you've become undeniable. Your results, your presence, your discipline, they speak louder than words ever could. Nobody truly cares about your potential. They don't cheer for what you might do, but they do respect the man who turns his struggles into action, who converts pain into mastery, who transforms silence into presence. Your efforts, carried with consistency and purpose, become a language everyone understands without a single explanation. The moment you stop seeking validation, you step into a new kind of freedom. You act because it is your nature to act. You build because it is your nature to create. You rise because it is your nature to master yourself. And ironically, the harder you stop chasing attention, the more attention you earn. This is the transformation promised in the harsh truth of reality. When no one cares, you are forced to rely on yourself. And in that self-reliance lies power that no one can give you and no one can take away. Your life changes not when the world notices, but when you stop needing it to.